Good afternoon. Last week, there was a lot of chatter last week in regard to some comments made by the artist Tyrese, whereby he basically criticized the city of Shreveport as basically a dead-end street for those people living here who expire broader opportunities and also broader recognition. I was asked numerous times by multiple people my view, so I decided to give it in this form so that perhaps it may cause some people whom are still upset about what he said to get beyond their emotions and look at what he said a little deeper. For the record, I don't have a problem at all with what he said, but I think it's the way he said it which has some people feeling some type of way, but those feelings are causing those people to entirely miss what he said. You see, most people whom are outraged by what he said are outraged because they are only looking at what he said from a subjective point of view, which merely takes place within the mind, and it will always be modified by individual bias, such as one living in Shreveport their entire life and knowing nothing of nothing else. But you see, when you look at this thing, if you look at what he said from an objective point of view, which is undistorted and not confused by emotions or personal bias, it will enable one to conduct a more critical analysis of the situation, because that analysis will be based on observable facts and experiences. So this is where my view comes from. So when I look at the situation, I'm looking at it from an objective point of view and not a subjective point of view, which so many people make the mistake of doing. So based on what I have observed and experienced during my 40 plus years in the Shreveport area, young people, and I mostly am talking about young African Americans pretty much, whom are seeking broader opportunities and expire broader recognition of their talents and skills in order to have a better chance to use those talents and skills, are on a dead-end street. And to add insult to injury, the city of Shreveport won't even fix the streets. So in essence, young people here are really on a bumpy ride to nowhere. Now, of course, there have been a few exceptions, and there always will be a few exceptions. In fact, if you look hard enough in any situation, you will be able to find exceptions to anything. But on the broader and more collective scale, those few exceptions people have been able to pull out of their ass and is not an adequate measure, and will never be an adequate measure to counter Tyrese's argument. Most people whom are outraged out of their own system of reality. And if it's in your system of reality that tells you that you're going to achieve what you consider the American dream, living in Shreveport, Louisiana, then that's exactly what you're going to believe. But in reality, for most of young people, most young black people, living in Shreveport, the American dream for them will always be an American nightmare. I approve this message.